Well, good morning. Not really a good morning for me because last night I got zero sleep, none whatsoever, because I have a mice situation inside of the bus. The first time ever. So, I have mice in the bus. And I can't really deal with it right at this moment. Obviously couldn't deal with it overnight. But the reason why I can't deal with it right at this moment is because, well, I am here at the new property, my new 40 acres, where my off-grid living and homestead should be starting. Actually, it is, because this video today, it's pretty exciting of what's going on. Let's see. Yep, we're getting some work done. So, haven't been here that long, but I'm trying to crunch getting some things done right now. So, me and my two friends that I got the property with. And, well, one of the things that this county does require you to do is have septic, or composting toilet. So, I will be doing the composting toilet thing. I mean, I already have a compost toilet in my bus. But one of my other friends does want to do the water flushing toilet in his tiny home. And so right now we have the guys here. They got to do a perk test on the soil, the land, and everything. And then the other guy is with Septic. He's here. So that's what's going on today. And I will be using the septic system a little bit until I get all my stuff completely done. But yeah. And then also we're going to talk to one of the guys about clearing out some of the land for us. So that's nice. But these guys have been really nice to let me film them. So first step of the homestead, septic, clearing the land, gravel. Exciting. So it's pretty exciting to at least have like the first step of something that I'm doing here at the property. And so one of my friends will be having that water flushing toilet inside his tiny home. And then my other friend, I think me and her are just in the long run gonna do the composting, but we're gonna take some time to really think that through. But when they put the septic tank in, they're going to put an RV adapter on the septic tank. So me and my other friend will still be able to use that septic tank until we get our composting toilet built, which would be outdoors and everything. So it's taking some time, and it's going to take some time, and it's going to be a work in progress. I mean, we've only been here for little less than a week at the property, and I've already accumulated a water tank for me, and mind you, me and my friends, we're gonna have our separate areas on this 40 acres, so we're gonna be doing our separate areas different. And so the water tank that I got is for me personally. They'll get their own water tank, but we are all going in on this septic system right here. So, because it is a requirement pretty much for the county. So, it's exciting. It's a start. And it's going to take a lot of time. But at least we're getting things done. We're here and things are happening. So let's go see how this perk test is done.
I thought they'd be wider if they were low profile.
So your tripod would be probably pretty close to being
It's
on
just
my
like
bed.
anything else. They have to add
Just
more,
add another
more of them. Yeah, it
100
makes
feet
them
or more.
longer.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, we've done this before quite a bit, so.
I'm gonna see how much pressure I have to put on it to rupture the pad. Not much. I also gotta give it shape of it. Well, that must be a rock. That didn't want to rupture. Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, like,
Another rock. Okay. All right.
I don't know, it looks like a big shower.
You getting a little rough, huh, Jimmy?
3 feet on both of them.
Anything better anywhere?
I don't know.
Maybe another one real close here?
Do another one right here.
Yeah, somewhere. And then we'll just leave one out for reserve.
I moved up this way a little bit. Robert?
Huh?
What if I moved up that way a little bit?
Okay. We'll still be okay as far as running lines and stuff?
I think so.
Okay.
So what are you doing right now?
Okay, I ran it through my sieve
Uh-huh.
and to get all any rock out. So anything larger than that size of the sieve is considered a rock. So we want
Right.
just the soils. So I'm gonna figure out what the texture of the soil is.
Oh,
I already
okay.
got an idea on the structure and the size. That's what I was doing with those like these would be called pads, and you figure out how much pressure you have to put on to rupture it, and it doesn't take much.
Oh, nice.
Slightly hard. And then the shape, I have to describe the shape.
Okay.
So that all goes into the structure of the soil. Yeah. Now I'm going to see about the texture. Try to see how much, get an idea how much clay is in here. See, that's why they pay me the big bucks to make little mud balls.
Sounds like a great job.
Yeah. Alright, hope they got the right consistency. I think Jimmy's giving up on that one. I think we're better off down in here. Get a little bit more soil. Okay. So now I get it wet enough where I can squeeze it. We know it's not sand, because if it was sand, it wouldn't hold up together. It would just fall apart. So now I'm gonna roll it for a little bit. Am I gonna be able to roll it? Yeah. You know, it's pretty close to try it again. I can roll it. There's some soils that won't roll at all. Then I already know what the texture is. It would be a loamy sand. But this connects. I think I had it a little too wet at first, and now it's rolling. So we know there's a certain percentage of clay. Any soil is going to have so much So yeah, and this is pure sand.
Right, yeah.
That's not gonna happen very often. Okay. And I'll do a ribbon until it breaks off. That's not a bad ribbon. Actually, the soles are pretty good already. Then I gotta see what I feel. Don't look at it, they say. Just go by your feel. Feel a little grit. Okay. Let's see.
Alright, well, it's exciting. It's starting the new journey of this 40 acres of off-grid living and homesteading. Now, to me, homesteading means you have animals and all that stuff. That's going to come in time. But this will be a homesteading property. We just have to get everything else done first. So, I feel like the septic and all that, getting that handled, since that's something the county is just very adamant about. There really isn't a lot of restrictions on this land. It was just the septic part that the county was adamant about. And we went in, I talked to multiple people at the county. I just wanted to make sure that everything we were doing here was going to be done correctly. So, while the guy was here, because my area that I'm going to make as my area is pretty unlevel, so I need somebody to come in and level it out. I was going to do it myself with like a shovel and a rake and everything, but because it is pretty unlevel, it would have taken me a long time to try to level out my area myself. So it's just going to be easier for somebody to come in and level it for me. And it's the same guy that's doing our septic, so kills two stones with one, you know, or whatever that saying is. Pretty tired right now, because after this video, after filming this, I have to go in and I have to try to capture this mouse. It might be two mice, but try to capture the mice that's inside of my bus. Went to Ace Hardware store, got some mouse stuff, and so I've got to take care of the mouse situation because I didn't get any sleep last night. But anyways, it's exciting. Oh, that's what I wanted to tell you guys. So, because this is all new to me. Everything is a learning process for me. I am learning all over again. So I didn't quite know what a perk test was on the land and all this septic stuff and everything. So I learned. And for the ones that aren't familiar with what a perk test is, when you're getting septic installed on your land, they require you to do a perk test first on the soil and the land. And so basically, as you guys saw in the video where the guy was wetting the soil in his hand. Thought I had something on my hand. Wetting the soil in his hand, and he was rolling it around in his hand, and he was feeling it and all that stuff. He was trying to get a feel of the soil. So the perk test is because there will be a leach field, you know, from the septic tank and everything. And that leach field is where the waste will, and I hope I'm going to get this right, because like I said, I'm tired. I've been up for over 24 hours, so I tried to let it sink into my head, so I'm pretty sure I'm getting this right. The leach field will go underground from the septic tank, and the waste goes out through the leach field. And basically, you have to make sure that the soil is good enough for it to percolate out into the ground. And so with it percolating out into the ground, hence the word perk test, that's what that is. So everything seems to be good so far. They are going to have to hammer the septic tank down because of the fact that there was a lot of rock under the ground. They were only able to go down 3.5 feet. So they're going to have to, I think the septic tank has to go down 5 feet. So they're going to have to bring a hammer in and hammer the septic tank down more into the ground 2 more feet because of all the rock that was down here. So yeah. You know, a lot of the things that I'm going to do here at the property, I plan on doing by myself and with my own hands. And like I said, I was going to clear out my own section myself, but I'm ready to get my section done. So I can go ahead and move up there to my section and start doing everything. And I feel like if I would have done that by hand with a shovel and rake and all that stuff, it would have taken me probably about a good month to do it. And with somebody coming in and doing it for me, it's going to be done in 1 day. And then everything else I'll be doing on my own because I am penny pinching through this whole entire thing. I'm trying to save a lot of money. And also I just think it would be awesome to be able to do everything by my own hands that I can do. So, all right, well, that's about it. It's time to go capture some mice and mice-proof the bus, which is not something I was expecting so soon. I knew there were critters up here. I knew we were going to have to deal with that situation, but I didn't think it was going to be so soon. It is what it is. It's part of living in the outdoors. So I've been living in the outdoors for over 4 years now. It's not the first time I've had a critter in my vehicle. Not in the bus. It's the first time I've had a critter in the bus. But I've had a critter in my Jeep before, so. Alright guys. Till next time. Alright, so this whole area up here by the hill is going to be my little section right here, my residence. So because it is up here by the hill, he has to come and he has to clear this area and level it out, because obviously with it being by a hill, it is not leveled. So and then we get the gravel down. It's exciting. Yay! Okay, so you guys are going to take a little ride with me right now because I got to run to the store real quick. So, but real quick, I did want to address a few things in this video. So first of all, they did have to dig 4 different holes on the property, which they did cover up, obviously. But they were having a hard time digging down to the feet, the amount of feet that they were supposed to, because we have a lot of, and God forbid, I hope I'm saying this word right, caliche in our soil, in our land. So basically what that is, that fancy word caliche, is the hard rock that is in the soil. And when I'm not just talking about little pebbles, I'm talking about huge, hard boulder rock down in the land. So we have a lot of it. And that actually was good to know, because in the future, if we were to want to dig down for a well, it's going to be difficult. And it's going to cost a lot of money. And actually, one of the guys that was there has already done a couple of wells in the area. And he said that in the area, they had to dig down like 900 feet. I think that's what it was 900 feet. And the further you go down digging, the more expensive it gets. So thank goodness we have no plans on getting a well right now, because that's pretty pricey. Almost like 70 grand. Pricey. So, yeah, so we have a lot of it. The whole entire land, actually. Then another thing I wanted to address was when I was talking about the composting toilet and everything. So, yes, they do require you to have septic or a compost toilet, or you can do an outhouse. So I forgot to mention that. And, you know, my mind has just been scattered and just all over the place and everything. So when I was talking about I'm going to do the composting toilet, I actually already have a compost toilet on my bus. So I will be using my composting toilet until I can build my actual bathroom. And I'm actually going to be doing an outhouse. So I will be building an outhouse. Now, yes, you do have to have permits for all these things. You have to have a permit to get the septic done. And I believe that permit is like $300. And then for the outhouse, though, for the outhouse, you have to have a permit for that also, but it's free. So I have already gotten my permit to do the outhouse at my little area that I want to do. And like I said, it was free. And they gave me a sheet of paper with a diagram on it and basically step-by-step directions on how to do this outhouse. You basically can just dig a big huge hole underground and then put the outhouse on top of it. So that was nice to know, because whereas we will have the septic tank and everything, and like I said, the septic tank is mainly going to be for my one friend that wants the flushing toilet. I know that I could hook up to the septic tank, but I really want that feeling of living off the grid. And I just really want an outhouse. So yeah, so I will be doing an outhouse soon. But for right now, I will just be using the system that I have on my bus, which is the composting toilet, until I can get the outhouse built. So yeah, so I wanted to address all that while I was driving up here to the store and everything. I was a little confusing in the video with some of the things that I said, but like I said, everything, my mind, I've just been so busy, and my mind is just frazzled, and yeah. So that's exciting. And then next step is having the guy come back out and clear my little area that I'm going to be making as my resident area, because it is pretty uneven up there by the hill, because I am by a hill.